Yeah, let's become powerful and strong and smart in Grim Dawn. This video has been made in 2019, so probably not all the stuff that is here is applicable to now, 4 years later. This game is like more than 5 years old now. All right, let's open this up, full screen this boy. Let's
What's
go.
up, guys? Lifting here today. I am bringing you part 1 of my 20 quick tips video for Grim Dawn. This video is for beginners to the game and contains
All right, this is like a 2-part video. Got this first part, and then we got the other part to go. Such a friendly cat.
I wish I had known when I started. Part 2 will cover the remaining 10 tips and will be released in a few days after the release of this one.
Okay.
In case you're considering purchasing the game, then please consider using my Humble Bundle link below
Check out this
in the
link.
description. It will at no
I'm
cost
gonna
to
link
you,
the video
support the
when
channel,
we finish
and it
watching.
goes a long way. Thank you very much. Grim Dawn quick tip number 1.
All right, what's
In
our
Grim
first
Dawn,
tip?
it is actually possible to bind a key to pick up loot for you. Go to your
Okay.
settings, then key bindings, and scroll down until you find
Okay.
pickup, and then bind whichever key you prefer.
All right, I didn't
As
know
long as
this.
you're close enough to the item on the ground, it will pick it up, and you won't have to use your mouse to click
As long as we're close enough, we don't have to, press on it. By the way, got freshly baked facts.
every single
Give us some
little
facts,
component
Sos.
on
Hit
the
us with
ground.
some facts. It's
Quick
been a
tip
while,
number
man.
2. Grim Dawn has a rather excellent loot
Yeah,
filter.
the loot
Don't
filter.
forget to use
I
it.
discovered that actually
Unlike-
you can actually even change the filter the what do you call it, the damage here. Since we are lightning, and it's like, you remember I always like look at everything we pick up, it has lightning or not, and if it doesn't, I don't care. We just do it here, man, and I don't have to worry about it at all. Just pick up the stuff that we can actually use on ourselves.
Path of Exile, the items in Grim Dawn does not need to be identified.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing too about Grim Dawn, man. You don't have to identify items and like waste it. It's like, I really don't like this whole thing about identify stuff. It's like from the old school like RPGs. It's like, oh, you find an item, you need to identify it. It's just like you're carrying junk that you might not even be using, and like it's a headache. I really don't like the identify stuff. What's happening here? Did you know that there are more plastic flamingo lawn ornaments in the US than are wild flamingos on the entire planet? I believe you. I believe it. You know what's crazy? We have flamingos here, man. You can drive. I can drive 20 minutes from here and see flamingos just chilling, man. Try and find some food. Very cute flamingos too.
This makes filtering loot work much better, as it enables us to specifically show and hide items based on their attributes,
That's
not just
awesome.
their base type.
This is good.
So if you're playing a fire-based build and need fire-based items, then you can take the fire damage tab. If you're playing
We're all
something
about
that
the
relies
lightning,
on
baby.
vitality damage, you can take that, and so forth.
all
Generally
about the
speaking, it
lightning.
is also a good idea to turn off both common and magic items. Once you've
Well,
got
it is my first run, but I'm really liking the lightning, man. I think next run I'll probably do fire though, because there's so many fire items. I feel like we can be super strong with fire.
gotten to, let's say, level 5 or 10 or something like that.
Yeah, he's right. Common and magic, after a while, after Act 1, they're like useless, man, because you get so much more on the rare and epic scale there.
Quick tip,
Like so much more
3.
items there.
Transferring items to another character can be achieved
Okay,
via
so
the
you
item
can
tab
transfer
in your
items.
stash.
Okay.
Any item put into any of the corresponding tabs in this section are shared between
okay.
all of your characters.
I see.
I recommend you put all of your component items in the first transfer stash tab
We
to
have
make them
so many components, but this is like way more than what I have. But yeah, I'm not using the components correctly, but hopefully after watching these videos, we get to learn a little bit more on how to use them and be a little bit more efficient with using them. Look at this guy. He has components in all of his stuff. Look at his character. Looks awesome as well, man. Well, my character kind of sometimes looks nice, but in general looks like a poo-poo. All right, let's go.
available for crafting and usage on any new build you might be playing. Also, by holding down shift while left clicking will transfer your items instantly back and forth
Yeah, I
between
figured
your
that out.
inventory and the
This
stash.
is pretty good.
And if you hold down
I just messed
control
around
while
with the
clicking,
keybind,
it also
you know,
allows you to
control
split a
clicks.
stack of
Typical.
items into different amounts.
This is
When you are
natural behavior when
interacting
you're a
with the vendor,
Factorio player.
right-clicking the relevant item sells it directly. Clicking
This
these
is
two
great too.
buttons
Yeah,
in
just
your
right-click it.
inventory or stash respectively combines and sorts the items alphabetically. Quick tip number 4. Grim Dawn manages to do what many other ARPGs don't, making exploring interesting. There are secret areas, quests that unlock
There are gigantic secret areas. Like, I found some places that are huge, dude. It's like, oh, you think, oh, you just like squeeze yourself in between something and you keep going and going and going. It gets bigger and bigger, and it's insane.
skill points and attribute points, hidden items, lore notes, and enemies scattered
What
throughout
we want to look out for are those devotion points, actually.
Cairn that are worth checking out for their specific rewards. To prevent you from missing out on these, I recommend you use the Grim Tools World Map feature.
Grim Tools World Map. Okay.
It will,
Checklist,
for the most part,
guides.
show you any location.
Oh, snap. You can see all of the little bits and pieces that you want to look for. These are the ones I was talking about. These are the devotion points, man.
That you
Make
might
you so
wish
strong.
to interact with. Some people prefer playing through the game at least once before using this feature, but
Wait a second, what? There's something here? What? But we can't walk there, man. Is that underground, maybe? Okay.
many others
have to go
like
check
having
that
it
out.
as a sort of
Oh, I love
guideline
me
to
some of
ensure
this.
they are
That's for
efficient
sure.
and don't miss out on stuff as they
Lore,
progress. Alternatively, to avoid spoiling the map for you, you can simply import your character data into the Grim Tools checklist
Okay.
feature. By doing so, you will be informed about what you might have missed, and you can go back.
Ooh, this is a completionist dream, man. Just put your character in, and then everything that you missed is there. Okay,
To
that's
try
awesome,
and
man. I
find
might
it.
do this, actually.
By at least ensuring you have completed the important quests, you can feel
Okay.
safe knowing you have unlocked the
You
one.
see the deviation shrines? He's missing some. Yeah, I want to get more and more of these devotion shrines, man.
That grants your character extra skill
Thrones.
points and attribute points. Quick tip number 5. Pick up and save every component you
Oh, we're
find
doing
throughout
this
your
already.
journey. These are used in crafting recipes or as a direct
The good
way
thing is somebody jumped in chat and told me, like, you don't even have to click on these anymore. Just go to the menu, and you can click something that will auto-loot these guys, so you don't even have to do anything about it.
of adding enchantments to your gear. To ease the burden of having to click so many components dropped, install the Grim Internals mod to have it
Ah, look at that. They used to have a mod for it, but the game updated itself to make this
automatically
function
pick
for you
these up
automatically. You don't have to even add a mod
Check out
anymore.
my recent video on 3
can just
different
walk
mods
on them
I
and you
recommend
pick 'em
for
up.
the game to get
And it
more
looks
info
nicer
about
than this
once you're
graphical
done
style.
watching this video. Not every component can fit any type of gear. By hovering over your gear while having the components in your inventory,
Okay, this is really good. I didn't know about this because, yeah, instead of going to each one and trying to read what it does, you can just hover over the item, yeah. All right,
your
or the
stash,
armor that you want
the
to add
applicable
piece to.
components will get highlighted, and you can use that as a quick measure of figuring out if that particular component can be added to the relevant piece of gear. If you need to disable the tooltip, if it's in the way, you can hold down Control and the tooltip will disappear.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Now,
That's
the
a good tip
component
right there.
will only be highlighted if the item doesn't already have a component on it though.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. If you need to remove a component, then you can do so by interacting with the inventor NPCs.
Yeah.
This
We
will be
already
done
did
at the
this.
cost of destroying the item though, so be careful.
Okay.
This way you can use the component on a different
So it's either keep item, which is keep this item, or keep add-on. So if you want to keep the item itself, you keep item, click by clicking item. If you want to keep the add-on, you just destroy the item itself. All right, fair play, sir.
item. But you can also choose to save the item and destroy the component instead.
That's what I did. Okay.
Quick tip number 6. Does your character look like a Swedish hobo? Then
Kinda.
fret not. You can, at the cost of iron, transmog
Swedish
and
hobo.
change your look via the illusions vendor.
Oh, so
When
we can.
starting out-
Okay. We can actually spend money on something that's good. All right, we're gonna have to go and pimp ourselves out, dudes. We gotta go looking news.
You won't have much to choose from, but as you progress further into the game and find
Okay.
different types of gear, these designs
many
will get
different looks.
saved and become available to transmog for your character.
Transmog.
No one should have to
Always
look
good.
Swedish. No one.
Nobody
Quick
has to look
tip
Swedish.
number 7.
How does Swedes look nice,
There
man?
are
What are you talking
several
about, man?
different
Swedes are
blacksmith
sexy.
NPCs located throughout the game.
Shout out to my
For the most
Swedes out there,
part,
dude.
each of these smiths have their own attributes aligned to their craft. What this translates to is basically that whenever you craft a non-unique armor
Okay.
piece or accessory, one of 3 dedicated affixes is guaranteed to be added to the item. For instance,
I never really got into, like, yeah, we didn't even create anything so far. I guess it's gonna get worth it more and more later on, right?
Imprim here in Devil's Crossing is
Okay.
guaranteed to add either pierce resistance,
Guaranteed with pierce,
percent armor, or percent physique attributes
Okay.
onto
2 to
any
4%
non-unique
physique.
item made
Nice.
at this forge. To check what each blacksmith provide, hover over the sword and shield icon next to the combine button in the
Because
description.
there's a quest in the beginning, you can choose between two different blacksmiths, right? So I guess if you choose the right blacksmith for your right, you have to choose the right blacksmith for your build. Okay,
I've linked a
fair
website
enough.
that tells you the difference between all the blacksmiths and their craft alignment in the game, which might be worth checking out for you. Quick tip number 8, follow a build guide. Grim Dawn is a complex ARPG with
I'm not really
lots
doing any build
of
guide
depth.
right now.
The downside
At
to
least
this
not for the
is
first
a
run,
steep
'cause we're
learning
just
curve,
starting,
and
man.
unless you're willing to risk your first build failing or in general just not feeling too great, then I highly suggest following a build guide. While a big part of learning and playing the game can
I feel like this is not fair. I feel like the first time you play the game, you should do your own build. And in the end, you can easily just, change your build later on. And wait a second, how come there's numbers popping off here? Do we have numbers coming up? All right, I'm going to have to go to the option menu and see if we can get these numbers to hover out. See how strong we are.
be to create
this is
your
cool,
own
man.
builds.
I like to
There's
see numbers,
nothing
man.
wrong
It's
with not
satisfying.
doing so with your first few characters. By following a guide, you're much less likely to get overwhelmed by choices and information, and you
Okay.
can focus on exploring and learning the mechanics as you go. I'm rather
Alright.
stubborn when it comes to this, and I never followed a guide. This resulted in my first 3 or 4 times of trying this game of getting stuck around Elite and Ultimate difficulty.
Okay, so you reach all the way to Elite Ultimate difficulty, then you got some issues. All right, that's fair, Okay.
This ruined the fun for me, and I ended up putting the game away until I inevitably, time after time, returned and tried again.
Okay.
While this trial of error and success taught me a lot about the game, and
Yeah,
granted,
it's awesome,
I
man.
also do make
gotta
my
learn,
own
man,
working
from your
builds
failures.
now, it also prevented me from properly enjoying Grim Dawn for a long time, and looking back, I should probably just have followed a guide back then.
Honestly, it's part of the fun also for people to jump in chat and tell me, man, you can fix your build this way, you can do this thing. It's more fun. I think it's more interactive also with chat.
So don't be stubborn like me. Following a guide now doesn't mean you won't be able to create your own build later. And at least this way, you will get to see
Oh my
what
God,
the
there's
game
the whole thing
truly
going on
offers.
up there, man.
Quick
That's a
tip
nice
number
looking
9.
area.
Besides skill and devotion points, there are 3
Attributes,
different
okay.
types of attributes you can allocate points into in
How much points he put in physique, man, and a little bit in spirit.
Grim Dawn. These are physique, cunning, and spirit.
Okay.
Allocating points into either physique, cunning, or spirit will grant you additional health, while cunning and spirit also provide a damage bonus to either physical, pierce, or magical damage sources. In case you're creating your own build, it is worth knowing that generally speaking, any attribute point you unlock should typically always be invested into physique. The reason being is that out
Okay.
of the 3, physique is the attribute point that provides the most health per point invested. It also provides
So you just cram all the stuff in physique? I mean, what happened is literally what I did is I put more stuff in physique and a little bit in spirit, right?
defensive
what I did.
ability, which is a very important stat that you will need high amounts of
Defensibility, okay.
if you wish to take on the endgame concept.
2,850.
So while the damage bonus from cunning and spirit is nice, it is generally agreed that this is better obtained via different sources such as from your skills, gear, and devotion tree, and your attribute points best left to be invested into physique.
Okay.
Again,
All right, that's a good.
generally
I
speaking,
feel like that's a
that
good
is.
point. Yeah.
There are of course
I
exceptions
wonder if this is still the case though. They didn't readjust this like 4 years later. I mean, it's been a while since this video is out.
to this. One thing to keep in mind though is that certain gear types have different attribute requirements, and you do of course need to make sure you meet those in
Yeah.
case you wish to wear that type of gear. In
So
that
what he's saying is, right, if you have like a dual-handed weapon or a single-handed weapon, it will require a certain amount of like physique, cunning, or spirit you'll be able to use. Like if you're using long range or ranged weapons, they're gonna require cunning. If you're gonna use heavy two-handed stuff, you're gonna use physique, spirit. I'm guessing offhand and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. I didn't get into that honestly. All right, let's go.
case, it is completely fine
I'm a basic noob of this game, right? That's why I'm watching this video.
investing a few points into either cunning or spirit too. Quick
Okay.
tip number 10 and the final for this video. To get a powerful start to your new build, consider heading into the Crucible as the first thing you do.
All right, I heard this before, man. Actually, we might, after watching these couple of videos here, because there's 2 parts, watch the second part as well, and we will jump into the Crucible. Also, there's another tip that I heard that we should switch to Veteran. It will make the game harder, but it's going to give us 10% extra experience, man. I might as well do that, man.
Start the Crucible and then let your character die. By doing so, you will instantly, weirdly enough, gain a level and unlock.
They're like, yeah, you're like a total. Here's a level, man. Just go. Cheese.
A bit of loot via the chests.
Ah,
However, the main reason for doing the Crucible early on is to unlock 5 quick devotion points.
Wait, what? You get 5 devotion points, dude? What? All right, we need to go into the Crucible. We need to get in there, man.
This can be achieved by earning tributes.
But dude, that's gonna jump us so much, you know. Oh my god, that's gonna make us so strong. Just 5 devotion points. Woo! All right, let's go.
And turning them in at Terralia in the Crucible.
Okay. So there's a whole money system going on. I wonder if it's going to be harder now since we're level 40 something now.
3 tribute points you turn in, she will award you.
Okay, so you got tribute points, you change them into devotion points. Okay.
1 devotion point.
All right, sweet house.
To earn these tribute points, you have to start a new Crucible run by Lokar. After defeating 10 waves, you will receive 10 tribute points and also, at this point in time, since you're so low level, gain 6 additional levels plus 2 more for telling him you wish to stop and collect your loot. This takes you to a quick level 8, provides lots of magic and...
What? You can get to level 8 in like instantly almost? Alright, next character I guess.
Potentially also rare items from the chests, and as I said, 3 tribute points that you can then turn in at Terralia for 1 devotion point.
Let's go.
Once you've done that, I recommend restarting the Crucible and repeating this process 4 more times to unlock 12 additional tribute points for the remaining 4 devotion points. You will also gain more experience.
Wait a second. So what he's saying is we need to stop the waves at 10 and then pick up the stuff and redo it like 10 times? 5 times? Okay.
And additional loot, of course. But it is the tribute points that is the main goal here. The reason I suggest only going for 5 devotion points unlocked is that after that, the tribute cost requirement of unlocking further devotion points increases to 5 tribute points per devotion point. At that point, you might as well head into the campaign and begin your journey. But you can of course continue if you wish to do so. Now this method requires the Crucible DLC and it is entirely optional, but by doing so you can get a powerful start to your journey as you start the campaign.
And good thing I got all the DLCs like
when I bought the quick tips video for beginners to Grim Dawn. As I said in the intro of this video, I will release another 10 additional quick tips in another video a few days from now, as there are many other important things to know about, such as reputations, fixing resistances, managing the devotion tree, respecking, looking up useful items for your build,
here, guys. Go check this guy out. Give him a like.
About these could potentially make you enjoy Grim Dawn even more. So keep an eye out for that video. And if you haven't already but wish to purchase Grim Dawn, then I'd appreciate it very much if you would do me the favor and use my Humble Bundle link found in the description below to obtain it. Purchasing it via Humble Bundle will directly support the stream and charities around the world. Via Humble, you can directly activate the game on Steam in a quick and seamless fashion. Thank you very much, guys. I also stream daily on Twitch TV/LiftingNerdBro, although I do have a few vacation days right now. Happy Easter, by the way. But once I am back, I hope to see you there too.
Is he still streaming on Twitch?
Thank you for watching, and bros, do you even nerd?
Alright, let me check him on, man. Lifting Bro, let's copy this. Let's try to find him, man. If he's there, I'm gonna follow him. Lifting Bro, yeah, man. Got a lot of followers as well. Ooh, very famous, man. Alright, what is he doing recently? Yeah, he's playing... What is he playing? Sid Meier's Path of Exile. A lot of Path of Exile, as I see. Alright, that's fair. Let's give him a follow. Check him out. Check him out, guys, too. Here's his Twitch channel. Let's do that. Let's put it over here. Check him out, baby. Alright, so let's jump into the second video here. Let's go. Learn the stuff.
What's up, guys? Lifting here. This is part 2 of the 20 quick tips video for beginners. There's a link to part 1 in the description of this video too, in case you wish to watch that.
If you guys are watching this on YouTube, check it out. All the links are going to be down there in the description.
If any of you guys are considering buying Grim Dawn, please consider using my Humble Bundle link. It will at no cost to you help support the channel. Thank you very much if you do. Let's begin this video by starting off where we stopped in the previous video. So here goes quick tip number 11.
All right.
Now, I mentioned
we got?
the pickup key as the first tip in the last video, but did you also know that you can or might already have an assigned drop button for items in your inventory?
Drop button?
By default, I believe it's set to the D button on your keyboard,
Really?
and instead of you having to drag and drop items from your inventory to the ground to get rid of them, this button will do it for you. Click the item and press D and save yourself a bit of inventory
It's like a split second.
micromanagement.
But
hassle.
yeah, man, that's good.
Quick tip number 12. If you wish to skip normal and elite difficulty and just head straight into ultimate, then you can
do
via
that?
the Forgotten Gods cult supplier purchase what's referred to as the Champions or Savior's Merit Stone. You can then put the stones in your transfer tab and share them with existing or new builds that you wish to skip that content on.
Okay.
This will allow you to start a brand new character on ultimate difficulty where the content is going to be very, very challenging, but also very, very rewarding in terms of experience, and you can thus level pretty fast through ultimate and get a quicker start to the end game. One thing to keep in mind though is that you will need to complete the first quest in Act 1 to unlock the area where the stash vendor is, in case you wish to transfer it via those means. When using a Champion's or Savior's Merit, you also won't have to worry about completing the skill and attribute awarding quests either on those respective difficulties, as those are awarded to. You will also receive all the inventory upgrades and all the rift gates will be unlocked. You'll probably find yourself stuck on ultimate a few times simply because the content might be too hard.
Wow, look at that.
When or if that happens, just head back to elite difficulty and farm the relevant gear upgrades there and return.
How much XP are you gonna get for one guy?
Quick tip number
I want to see
13. You can at any time respec your skill and devotion points via the Spirit Guide NPCs. Every time you respec a point, the cost increases. I respec constantly on my characters to try out different variations and to find the most optimal setup, and even after having respec'd hundreds of points, this however still remains relatively cheap, so don't let that hold you back. Just respec away and try out
this is what we're doing. This is what we're heading to, man. The Kraken here. We're finishing up this little tree here for lightning. The lightning power, then we're gonna head to Kraken. Like even him, he's got to try it. Why wouldn't you get
the
Kraken?
Spirit Guide cannot respec your attribute points for you. To do that, you will need to use a tonic of reshaping. This will remove any allocated points for you to then reinvest.
Okay.
There are 2 quests in the game that reward you these flasks, and they aren't available until you begin the Ashes of Malmouth content. The tonic of reshaping are however also obtainable via random Nemesis boss and Crucible drops.
Okay.
Quick tip number 14. When you're working
so we
on
gotta be a little bit
finding
more
the
careful
most
with our
efficient
attributes than with
constellations
the rest of the stuff.
set up for your devotion tree, it is worth knowing that previously allocated devotion points that used to be required in order to unlock a new constellation can be respecced as long as the affinity bonus they provide are presently covered by other or new constellations.
Okay.
A quick example of this, let's say we wish to unlock the Ghoul constellation.
So maximum is 55, huh? Alright.
For that sweet life leech potential.
Maybe it's more now with the DLCs and stuff.
In order to do so, the game tells us that we will need at least 1 point invested into Chaos Affinity.
Yeah. This was hard to figure out actually.
We can then pick
it's kind of a little bit complicated.
The relevant crossroads point here and unlock the Ghoul constellation. If we then proceed to complete the Ghoul constellation,
health damage, what is this? Attack speed 22%, physical resistance, attack damage. I mean, we're not really using attack speed, are we? I mean, we're more like using magic here.
Will be awarded with 3 Chaos Affinity points for a total of 4.
Because I'm doing a Shaman Lightning run, basically.
This means we no longer have to use the crossroads
for now. I haven't gotten to the second,
point that priorly was necessary to unlock the constellation, and we can now remove it and spend that point on something else. And this goes for all the constellations, and it is very common that you will use some constellations to unlock others for their affinity requirement, for then to remove them and spend them differently later. And as good old quick tip number 13 taught us, don't be afraid to respec your points. It really isn't that expensive.
I get him. I'm getting it's like once you unlock something from a tree, you can just remove those and move on to something else. So, all right.
Quick tip number 15. This may be obvious to you, but it took me a long time to realize, so here goes. When traveling via your portals, or rift gates, as they're called in this game, it isn't necessary to set up a rift gate before you travel. By clicking any of the discovered rift gates on your world map, you can travel directly to that rift gate without first setting up your own rift gate, to travel through. I always thought
What?
I had to set up my own portal, go into that, and then travel to another, which isn't the case.
Yeah,
Quick tip
I guess we didn't know that, man. That was gonna mess your stuff up.
number 16. There are factions in Grim Dawn. Some of these you'll want to create a good
Oh yeah, what's the whole thing, man? Faction stuff. That's crazy, man.
reputation with,
Revered. Okay.
where others you'll want them to despise you. By reaching certain thresholds of reputation, be it either fame or infamy, certain rewards can be unlocked. You can,
Alright.
with any non-hostile faction, reach friendly, respected, honored, and revered status. And for any hostile faction, you can go from
20%
despised,
faction
hated,
discount.
into nemesis status. And I believe I've reached all three with any of my ex-girlfriends. Each threshold tier unlocks new rewards. For friendly factions,
nice one, dude.
this often includes access to new blueprint recipes, specific gear types, and both offensive and defensive augments. For hostile factions, the more they dislike you, the more enemies they're going to throw at you, including increasing the amount of enemy hero spawns, and eventually the nemesis boss relevant to that faction.
Okay, that's kind of
This
cool.
is great as more monster spawns means more items dropping, and nemesis monsters specifically are great for farming rare components, blueprints, and legendary items. Once you reach Honored with any of the friendly factions, you can purchase a writ that will, once consumed, increase any further reputation gains with that faction by 50%. Once you reach Revered, you can purchase a mandate item, and while
Mandate of the Revered faction document entering another entity. The representative can be placed in transfer stash. Character does not stuck. Okay, so we can farm all this stuff and then send it to other characters, so we don't have to farm it on the other characters. That's awesome. I'm a Barbie girl. I'm Barbie world. Life is fantastic. Wrapped in plastic. I'm a Barbie girl and a Barbie girl. Barbie girl. And a Barbie world. Life is plastic. It's fantastic. How you doing, Growlin?
while they won't do anything for your current character, you can share them with your other characters you
Okay.
wish to farm reputation on to grant them a solid 150% increased reputation gain with whatever faction you've
150%
purchased the
gain.
mandate for.
Okay.
Once you start farming nemesis bosses, you'll occasionally also find warrants. These ones consume
There's so much depth to this game. It's crazy, dudes. Unwanted poster condemning you as a warrant enemy. Infamy gain increase 100%. Okay.
will grant 100% increased infamy gain with their respective faction. Like the mandates, they won't do much for the character you find them
good.
on, as those
I'm
characters
good,
will
man. I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. Learning some tips and tricks here on Grim Dawn.
already be at max infamy rank with that reputation, but they can also be shared with new characters to reduce the time for them to reach the reputation goal. To know which factions you have a red, mandate, or warrant activated for, check for the plus or minus sign in the factions tab, and it will tell you.
All right. That's cool.
Quick tip number 17. If you wish to get a significant experience boost, you can, once you have reached revered status with the Malmoth Resistance faction, purchase
Mammoth
potion
Resistance. I don't think I've even met these guys before.
of clarity flasks from the
Okay.
Quartermaster vendor. These will for 1 hour grant you 100% increased experience gained. The flask does not persist through death, however, so be careful not to waste it.
All right. 40,000? Wow. All right. We'll remember this.
If you can afford it, you can purchase several of these at a time and chain them for an entire day of leveling. And now that is what I
Wow, we
call
just
a
bought
good
9 of
weekend.
these.
That is pure productivity. And while the game
Wait,
says
what did
call
you
a
just
good
said?
several of these at a time and chain them for an entire day of leveling. And now that is what I call a good weekend. That is pure productivity.
Noise. I'm going to serve the new job thing. I only got the offer the other day and don't start for over 2 weeks, but they're already giving me opportunity for massive trolling. And you can't handle yourself, right, Growling? You need to control yourself, sir. This is your job, your livelihood. I was like, but it's the trolling. I can't. I need to troll.
And while the game says that these are non-tradable, they can however still be shared between your characters via the transfer tabs in case you wish to use them on new characters you might be leveling. Quick tip number 18. Save your Aether clusters for hard encounters. These make a huge difference to your survivability by providing an 8-second 75% total
Oh, that's what they do? Okay, I didn't even check, man. I have a bunch of these. Oh my god, I never even checked them, man. 75% damage absorption? Alright, man. This could come in handy in one of those skeleton key door areas, man.
damage absorption and 100% skill disruption protection. These are rare, but certain areas such as Port Valkyrie has monsters that drop these, and it can thus be a good place to farm these while running the roguelite
That's it. That's the door for the
dungeon
key
at the
key
same
area.
time. Quick tip number 19. You should at any time you find a blueprint or recipe, learn it. The reason being is that once your character has memorized the recipe, then it won't drop again. Instead,
awesome.
a different recipe you haven't memorized will drop in its stead. This way you won't find the same blueprints over and over, and you're much more likely to eventually find that specific blueprint you are looking for.
Awesome
Also,
sauce,
blueprints or learned recipes are shared between all characters, and you can thus craft the same thing on your new character as you could on your main that originally learned the recipe. I recommend you check the various vendors for blueprints as you progress throughout the game and increase your reputation standing. Also, when encountering vendors outside the towns or in the dungeons, make sure to check their tabs for any unlearned recipes, as these are often random and varies from
Wait a second, you can learn stuff from these guys? Oh man, I didn't know this, dude.
each new game session.
Oh man, I need to check
Quick
that
tip
out.
number 20.
I didn't bother with it.
Comparing DPS gain when hovering over items can sometimes be a bit tricky, as you may have a component and or augment on your
Yeah,
currently
the
equipped
component, man, makes a huge difference.
weapon, and that of course influences its DPS potential. However, the same component or augment on the new weapon might give a better result.
Give me a sec here,
To
man.
probably
We'll check it
compare
out.
the
Let's just
weapons
finish up the
without
video here. I'll check
factoring
out the
in the
comment.
additional damage from the components or augments, you can hold down control while hovering over the weapon to hide the extra damage from your components and or
Okay, this is super useful, man. Just press the control button and then you can compare them both without any added stuff on top. That's
augments.
awesome.
This makes it much easier to compare the weapons and their raw potential. Also, if your
Amazing.
tooltip info stretches beyond the screen, then you can use the mouse scroll button to go up or down
Yeah.
to see it all.
It's insane the amount of like stuff in one item that one item
And
can have.
that was part 2 of the beginner's quick tips video. That said, I still have lots more information I wish
This
to
is,
share with
sweet
you
sauce.
guys, and you can within long expect a new video that goes over how to gear up.
Definitely,
fix
guys,
build
go
weak
check this
points,
guy out. Let me just
using
post it here
augments, components, and so forth on this
chat.
channel.
Go check him
If
out.
that is something
Leave
you're
him a
interested in,
comment as well.
then don't forget to subscribe. If you're going to purchase Grim Dawn or any of its expansions, then I'd appreciate it very much if you'd do me the favor.
Yeah,
and
you
use
can go
my
check out this
Humble Bundle
GOG. I don't know if
found
that's
in the
still valid
description
now, but I
below.
think it should be.
Purchasing via my link will
This guy is
directly
awesome.
support
Also,
the
he's on
stream
Twitch.
and
Check
even
him out.
charity
Same name.
organizations around the world.
Lifting out,
Via
bro.
Humble, you can directly
I'll
activate
put
the
all
game
the
on
stuff. If
Steam
you're watching
in a
this on
quick and
YouTube later,
seamless
check it
fashion.
out on the
And
comments.
it will be at no extra cost to
This
you,
guy's
of
pretty sweet.
course.
So I think he's
Thank you
playing a
for
lot of Path
watching,
of Exile
and
now.
bros, do you even nerd?
Well, that's an awesome video. We learned a lot of stuff. If you guys watching this on YouTube, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.